Welcome to another episode of One on One with Mitch Lafon. Joining me this week, Marq Torien of the Bulletboys. Their new album is Elefanté, quite a fine piece of work. Of course, this episode is brought to you by the Heavy Montreal Festival, taking place August 7th, 8th, and 9th. This year featuring performances by Korn, Faith No More, Slipknot, Abath, Lita Ford, Extreme, doing their Pornography album in full, and many, many more. I am, of course, giving away 2 pairs of tickets to the festival. Head over to the One on One Facebook page for your chance to win. And joining me this week as co-host to talk about Heavy Montreal, the Bulletboys, and anything else that he so chooses is guitarist Bill Leverty of Firehouse. Good day, Bill.
Hey, Mitch, thanks for having me again, man. It's great to be here, brother.
I love having you on this. So, you know, you've had your single Strong out for a while. Is there another song coming down the pipeline soon?
I've got like 5 ideas that I'm trying to figure out which one to develop into the next song, but I'm trying to work on it. I got I'm halfway through on finishing this 5th solo album, so it's a lot of fun.
Well, there you go. And while people wait for the new single, they can head over to iTunes and find the A World with Hero Kiss tribute, and they can hear you singing very wonderfully Deuce, one of the great Kiss classics. And what some people might not know is that you also had a little part in the song A Reason to Live, or just Reason to Live, that Honeymoon Suite did on that. You layered some synthesizers or something in that, didn't you?
Thanks to you for inviting me to be, and thanks to Honeymoon Suite for letting me work on it. And I had Mikey over here in the studio. He laid down the drums. Michael Foster, drummer for Firehouse, did a bang-up, awesome job on it.
Oh, it sounds great.
And then, if I'm not mistaken, I think I was even allowed to mix that one. If I'm not, so that was awesome. The Honeymoon Suite guys are awesome, and what a great version of that great song they did.
Oh, they really did. And what I find cute about the whole thing, if I can use that word, is the singer is very, very hard on himself with his vocal performances. And goddamn, he hit a home run. And it's hard to convince him that he hit a home run, but it's such a great, great performance. Now, speaking of great performances, the Bulletboys have a new album coming out June 9th called Elefanté. And I got to say, when I got the link to check out the album, I thought, okay, Bulletboys 2015, what's it going to sound like? And I was blown away. The first song was fantastic. And I said, okay, we got through one. Let's hear the next one. You know, when am I going to get bored with this? And I simply did not. I got through the entire album and went, okay, Marq wins this round. So good on them. Now, have you had a chance with Firehouse to play with the Bulletboys or tour with them or anything?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we did a show with them. If it wasn't last summer, it was the year before. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't surprise me that they put out a really good record because they were really good. I mean, and I'll use the word great. I mean, they came out, they kicked, and they made us say, wow, we've got to go out here and make sure we do a good job, because those guys, they kicked ass. Yeah. And so I'm really glad they put out a great record. And I remember back in the day, I saw them, I'm going to say in like 1988. We were living in Charlotte at the time. I forget who they were opening up for, but they were awesome.
Back in the day, probably Ozzy or maybe even David Lee Roth, but one of those sort of bigger names, right?
Yeah, I think it might have been Roth, as a matter of fact. Yeah, I think that's who that was.
You know, the funny thing... Go ahead.
Well, it was the Steve Vai, Billy Sheehan, Greg Bissonette, David Lee Roth, band, and that was Bulletboys. So the same producer, Ted Templeman, worked on all the Van Halen records and did a great job with Bulletboys. And actually, a funny thing was that when I put out my Cover Tunes album, the songs from the '70s that I wanted to make my own and kind of cover, I immediately had to scratch off For the Love of Money, because they did such a great job with that song that I really don't think anybody can cover that song again, because they did such a great job. So
what you should have done is cover Smooth Up In You instead.
That's right. Yeah.
That would have been a great track. But
yeah, it's a great song.
You know, the other funny thing about the Bulletboys is that they sort of are the vocational school of rock. You know, they've had DJ Ashbaugh as a member, who's, of course, now with Guns N' Roses and 6 a.m. Steven Adler, the Guns N' Roses drummer, came in and did a little stint with them in 98, 99. Jason Hook moved on to Five Finger Death Punch. Brent Fitz, of course, drummer who played with Union, with Bruce Kulick, and now, of course, plays in Slash's band, Kerry Kelly. Just a lot of great talent running through there. I guess at some point, Bill, you should go play guitar for the Bulletboys, just for a year.
If I get any time off from Firehouse, we'll see. But that's
a little summer vacation with the Bulletboys. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, my interview with Marq is quite extensive. We talk about touring. We talk about former past band members. We talk about, of course, the new album Elefanté, working with Ted Templeman. Just a lot of great stuff. And Marq was so kind and so forthcoming. Why don't we listen to him now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Here's Marq of the Bulletboys. That is a name that many fans haven't heard in recent years. Band's always sort of been around. You've been doing your thing, and you've got a new album.
Yes.
Yeah.
How you doing, Mitch?
Good.
What's happening now? It's so nice to hear your voice, and thank you for having me on your show. It really means a lot to me. I've been waiting to chat with you now for probably about a year and a half, right?
Yeah, long time. It's funny how you hear all these rumors and you hear all these things about Marq is hard to talk to. He's hard to approach. You've been nothing but kind and cordial, because we actually spoke before we started recording. And
yes.
So let's
no, this is the thing, Mitch. With musicians from my supposed genre, everybody always likes to throw the rock star label on things, and I've never considered myself a rock star. I don't really like the terminology. I'd rather be considered, a good musician and try to be the best musician as possible. So I'd rather talk to like real folks like yourself, and as a friend to friend, and I consider my friends and my fans and my family I group them all into one, because we're all very close, even people from around the world and everything. So, but that's why I was really excited about chatting with you, man.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm very excited about this too, because you've got this new album.
Yes.
And correct the pronunciation. Is it Elefanté or just Elephant?
Yes. Elefanté.
Elefanté. Which is great, because it sort of sounds like my last name, Lafon, right? So
yeah, I knew you were going to say that, dude.
It's perfect.
I was like, here we go.
Here we go.
Awesome. No, that's great. Now, I did it on purpose, honey.
I know.
Right?
I know. Absolutely. Absolutely. But
it's so funny.
Here's the thing. The album was sent to me, and I was a Bullet Boy fan back in the days. I mean, growing up in the 80s, if you didn't like Smooth Up In You, what the hell was wrong with you?
Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
And
yes.
And I was just going to say, over the years, there's been stuff on Metal Sludge and different sites, and there's been a lot of poking fun in here and there. And I got the album, and I thought, and I don't mean disrespectful, I got the album, and I thought, okay, well, here we go.
Right, sure. No, I completely understand. No disrespect taken at all. Bro.
Yeah, and I put it on, and the first song was massive. It was
Thank you.
And I just went, okay, 1 for 1. And the song's called Rollover. And then we got into the second song, and I was like, okay, 2 for 2.
What?
Yeah.
It's massive, right?
And the pattern repeated itself. Right? Track 3.
Thank you so much.
Track 4. And I'm like, wow, so much so. And this is what I do when I like an album. I go right over to the Japanese websites, and I look to see if it's going to be available with bonus tracks. And that's what I did with this album.
And we do have a bonus track on there.
Yeah, so I will be putting that purchase order in. I do have it now, but I'm going to spend my I guess for $30 for Japanese imports. But tell me about the album. I mean, what were you trying to do? I don't want to say it sounds like classic Bullet Boy, because that would make it sound like it's 1980s. It sounds like a fresh 2015 album that if you're a rock fan, whether you're 15 or 45, you should buy it, or you should certainly consider buying it.
Thank you so much, Mitch. First of all, not to interrupt you, I'm so sorry, but I wanted to expand on what you were saying. First of all, I really want to thank you for listening to our the new Bullet Boys joint. I and the band worked very, very hard on this record for 2 years to try to come up with something. I wanted to take a risk. We took a risk on this record, and as far as the musical appeal to the audience, I have stuck with Bulletboys, and this is my band because I never wanted to quit and never will quit on the fans, my family and friends that have been so supportive to this band, to the music, and to the organization. And I wanted to put out something that was musically at a high level, and that could maybe possibly, this little band called the Bulletboys out of LA could maybe possibly inspire some musicians from my genre or other genres, or, from the now or in the past, that we need good American rock and roll music to, that has depth, and that we weren't just a genre of the hair metals and the metal sludges. Mitch, I think our band got really thrown into a lot of that stuff, and irregardless of the antics that we did back in the day, like smashing all of our equipment, real equipment, after every show we played, or whether it was being the evil Marx Brothers of sorts, walking around, just creating havoc and having fun and everything. Of course, that, goes along with the name and everything, but there's also the music, and from day one, we've always tried to be, and I've always tried to be the best songwriter and communicator I could be, with the talent that I had. So basically to try to do the best I can with what I have. And I wanted to put out something that would just be that, Mitch, and I knew that if I liked it and it inspired me, I would hope that when it came out, like you're telling me, that I get this, and you did take a risk on this thing, and hey, in the music business, if you're not taking risks and if you're not trying to do something different, and all hats off to where we came from, but I personally can't be known just as strictly as Marq Torien, the smooth up guy. Right. There's other musics, and there's other musical prowesses that I have that I want to achieve musically, and I think that we're really trying to move the band forward. And we have a great musical catalog, but if I always thought, and I grew up in a family of musicians, that you always have to be writing, that you always have to be trying to come up with the new thing. So we were always driven, even back, I was doing interview yesterday with Dean Davaleray, who's a sweetie, and my very, very close friend, Tracy Guns. And we were talking about the musical prowess that we grew up here in Los Angeles, how we revered Van Halen because they were the biggest thing ever, and everybody wanted to be that. So we had to take our writing skills up. We had to take our performance skills up. So on this record, I kind of took a couple steps back, but walked 10 steps forward to try to do something like my peers, the bands that I love right now, and in the past. They always really try to do the best thing musically, sonically, lyrically, to put something out that could, provoke some type of emotion. Whether you hate us or love us, whether you hate the record or love the record, I would have to say, looking from an outsider looking in, and go, man, that Torien, he just doesn't quit. That guy doesn't know the word quit. This is great. I love it. No, but I think it's the spirit, and the spirit of the Bulletboys is not to quit, is to persevere and carry on no matter what's going on. In my personal life, I've been through a lot. Oh, Mitch, we could get into it, bro. Yeah. But, but it strengthens me inside, and it strengthens my faith. I'm surrounded right now by a lot of old acquaintances, musicians that have come back into my life again. That I am so blessed, Mitch. I can't even begin to tell you how with some of my friends that have come in that are inspiring me and that are proud that I'm doing what I'm trying to do, and when you get that, I think everything else, it's like, wow, I can't believe it, or, for instance, Nancy Sale, who's our publicist, and she's just an angel, and of course she's, worked with the great Rob Zombie, Zach Arnold, I love him to death. He's a sweetheart, amazing musicians, and have really helped people's careers, even back, from the Ramones days.
Right.
She has opened some doors to me, for me, that have just been amazing. We cut a new single for a new double LP, vinyl LP that's going to come out for Rock for MS.
Oh, nice.
And I was really, really blessed to be a part of this. And David Grohl, my hero, and millions of others, opened up his studio for this cause, and we were able to go and cut a song in there.
That's very cool.
It was just like, wow, it's just like it's just magical. I'm in the studio where all this brilliant music that this band has written that's carried the torch for rock and roll, who I just, they're my heroes, and I'm sitting in here and I'm recording, with Lou, and Lou's just an amazing producer, engineer, and I'm sitting there and I go, this is just great. So myself and Phil X, who's a great friend, and I just love him to death. He's an amazing musician.
From Bon Jovi.
Yeah, man.
and from Toronto, so there you go.
And from the Drills.
That's right.
Yes. I actually, going into it, I sang background from the new Drills record. Well, we'll talk about that later.
Oh, so anyways. That's great.
So,
and you need to get Phil on the phone with me, because I love his... I need to hear his story. That the whole in and out of Bon Jovi and the other stuff he's done is an interesting story. But
I just love him to death. He is such a good friend of mine, and he's just an amazing cat. He's one of those cats. And anything that I could do for him, I love him like a brother. And it's not too many. I don't go in and sing on people's records very often. It's not something that I'm out there doing. But a person like Phil, who has a lovely family, and he's just all heart, and just plays guitar like I've never heard somebody play guitar like him. It's ridiculous. It's insane. It's like insane the stuff he's doing. So, I got to blow him up a little bit, but he did a song on this thing too. So, and I think the record's going to be called the Pizza Diaries.
Right.
But and then he invited me up to come to the studio with him to sing backgrounds, and I was just like, wow, are you kidding me? So it's just been this magical little tour of being, hooking up with friends and people being really supportive. And I wake up every morning and I just go, man, I'm just so blessed today.
Is that
what do I need to do?
Is that a nice feeling to have at this part of your life, that all these people that were supportive? Because I followed your career, and it seemed that in the 90s and in the early 2000s, that people were bailing on you, that people were calling you out, that people were saying all kinds of stuff about you on the internet.
Yes.
And it seemed like you were, to me, from my computer screen here in Montreal, it seemed that, boy, Marq is like the loneliest rock star in the world. Everybody is saying these things about, and you probably went through some of that. You probably had some moments. Is it nice now to have people supporting you and getting back behind you?
Yes. And if I can expand on the first part that you talked about, it crushed my heart.
Yeah.
My whole career, Mitch, I've always tried to help people. I've always tried to be, I've never tried to go out of my way to do anything awful to anybody, or, I'll purposely try to go do that. People know me inside. I mean, my close friends, growing up in LA and doing what I've done musically, they all know that. But I think what happens is,
but you had your moments, right? I mean, you had your moments where
everybody has their moments.
Absolutely agreed.
No one's perfect. Rock and roll is imperfect. It's not. The business is not perfect. Music shouldn't be perfect. So, you have individuals like myself. I'm not perfect.
Agreed.
Everybody has their flaws.
Agreed.
So, but there were things that were cast upon me that weren't true, and I don't have the time to go and to try to go and just constantly try to defend myself with falsehoods. And
right. And let me rephrase. Let me rephrase that, because I don't want to go down the road of, a TMZ interview.
No,
here.
Mitch. Mitch. Listen, we're friends. You can talk to me. It's all good, bro.
So, but are you in a happier place yourself? Because some of the stuff you were in a. If I may, you appeared to be in a negative place, but you do seem happier. Just the music itself, the fact that these songs sound so good. They don't sound like they came from a tortured soul. They sound like somebody who's finally found their place in life and seem.
Thank you.
And is that about right?
God bless you, dude. Thanks for saying that, bro. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I have. And I wrote this record. I dedicated this record to my father. Mm-hmm. My father's my hero, and my mother. They were both amazing musicians and still are. My father's 85 years old and still has a 20-piece jazz orchestra.
Wow.
And he recorded his first record for the first time. And I heard it, Mitch, dude, it brought a tear to my eye. Wow. Because my dad gave up all that. He played in Stan Kenton's orchestra. Mm-hmm. I don't know if people are familiar with him, but he's a great jazz musician. And my father played first trombone for his orchestra and had done a couple of things here in LA, but he didn't chase what he allowed me to chase, because he worked so hard as an educator and as an administrator here in the LA City school districts for the 4 siblings. And they allowed me to chase that dream, and he had me chasing it with gusto, because he did not want me to fail at it.
Right.
So that he took the time to leave his dream and to be able to support me when I was young. I wanted to dedicate this record to him, because his favorite creature that walks the earth are elephants. He just loves elephants. So the elephant is to me is the king of the jungle, and that's how I grew up. And it's a majestic, beautiful, brilliant beast that is also suffers great atrocities.
Yep.
And I found a connection with that. And I wanted to be able to rise out of the ashes like a phoenix,
right? Or
as the Count of Monte Cristo, and to be like, that isn't him. Is that him? And I say that with a little lightheartedness, but that was the drive for me, is to do something very special. I went through a very, very traumatic, awful divorce.
Right.
That actually, a lot of the music on here is spirited from me being in a very dark place. To be able to rise to see that pinhole of a light at the end of the tunnel, and to try to open that pinhole up so I could really see the light of why I'm supposed to be here, what I'm supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. All that came into a swirl, and it came into fruition, and here I am. So. And I was just talking with Sean Duncan, my drummer, and
right.
we're very, very close. The 4 of us are extremely close. We've been together for 6 years now. Chad McDonald, Nick Rhoads, myself, and we've gone through a lot of peril. We've gone through a lot of hate. We've gone through a lot of chastising, and now we're not proud of ourselves, but we talk to each other on the phone and go, "Hey, can you imagine we're doing this?" And it's really new. It's like this fresh, exciting thing. I mean, God, Mitch, we're headlining our tour for the first time in I don't know how many years. We're playing the Gramercy Theater here in New York. I mean, I can't even tell you how every day I wake up thinking about being able to play this venue, or having the being blessed to be even asked to play these great venues that we're going to be playing. So all the little things are really huge things for me, because they're the wins in the battle of this record business, which is the war.
Now, before you mentioned that you didn't want to be known as the smooth up guy, and you've put out other albums, 10 Cent Billionaire, Rocked and Ripped, Sophie, and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
You've never stopped putting out music.
Acid
Monkey, Zaza. I mean, it goes on and on and on.
Thank you, Mitch.
But theoretically, you could have stopped. You could go to any local bar and put up the name and do Smooth Up Yidhu and grab a couple $1,000 and leave.
Sure.
Why is it important to continue to make new music? Because it's not like 1988 anymore. There's no MTV. Radio, okay, maybe Sirius on some of the specialty channels will pick it up, but really, there's not going to be a lot of airplay like it was in the day. I mean, there will be some. Why bother? Why not just say, okay, guys, let's go do our greatest set. Let's go do our 10 best songs. Let's grab a couple $1,000 and we'll go to the next city. Why make the effort?
Why make the effort?
Yeah, why make the
effort? Why not?
Okay.
Why not? That's what my answer. Why not?
Okay.
Why do we have to, we have to see our noses by their face. We as musicians and artists, we can't, we're here as the elder statesmen of rock and roll and our genre, but I think that we still have to inspire individuals and human beings musically, regardless of radio and everything that's going on. I'm still finding new music out there that's inspiring me from young bands and older bands that have put out new music that I really love.
Right.
So, I mean, as far as that, let's tell all the painters to stop painting. Let's tell all the great musicians to stop writing. I don't understand, even love them or not like them. I have a lot of respect for a guy like Kanye West because he doesn't listen to anybody.
Right.
He does his own thing. And he takes risks. I'd rather be the needle in the haystack than the needle in the haystack.
Gotcha. Let me go back to the first album for a second. The one that had Smooth Up In Ya, Hard as Rock, and all, and of course,
Sure.
For the Love of Money, the OJ's cover. Yeah, great cover, and it did very well for you, right? It was a top 100 hit.
Oh yes, absolutely.
There are two.
One of my favorite bands. It was my idea to put that song on the record.
Great,
and Ted agreed.
Great idea.
Yes.
Now, there are two things
only because Mitch, because I had my. I was signed with Motown Records, and one of the only rock and roll artists that actually in the rock biz or metal biz that actually was signed with Motown, and I have a lot of respect for that because that is my music. That's R&B and that type of music. That's my first my first love.
Right.
So when we presented it and started doing it, Ted just loved the whole idea because it was something that. And there was some fight a little bit because it was a cover, but I try to explain, and we always try to explain. It was a cover, but we rewrote the melodies, and so it was a cover, but with different melodies and a different style. So if you're doing a cover like that, that's great. Just like Van Halen did it with "You Really Got Me."
Right, and that's what I want to get to. You have Ted Templeman produce it. Now he did. Cheap Trick's Woke Up with a Monster, but he's also better known for the Van Halen stuff.
And the Doobie Brothers.
Of course.
And Captain Beefheart.
Yep.
Linda Ronstadt. Nicola Larson.
An incredible producer. First of all, how does this fresh band out of LA land at Ted Templeman? And what was it like working with some guy who had given Eddie Van Halen instructions in the studio and who had told David Lee Roth, sing it this way? What was it like working with him?
We got it by faith.
Okay.
By faith, luck, and vision.
Okay.
We constantly talked about it. All four of us. We all said, who do we really want to do our record? Ted. We want Ted Templeman. We've got to get Ted Templeman. But we put it out there. And we met with other producers, and they just didn't. We wanted a guy that would fit with, would be like our fifth guy, like our fifth bullet boy, kind of. So Garth Richardson actually, I love Garth. He's my brother. I just spoke to him a couple months ago, talking to him about the new record. He was the catalyst that actually came in and did our demo that got us our deal with Warner Brothers Records.
Okay.
And we met Garth through our manager, David Kaplan.
Right.
Garth actually was the creator of some of those, a lot of those drum parts for when we actually went into to do the demo.
Okay.
So, he was, no one ever, gives him any credit, and I have to give him big credit. because he was a brother to us. He suffered and won with us to get us that deal at Warner Brothers, and he was actually supposed to be the producer on the Bulletboys' first record. So Garth, I love you. He was the guy that got us in, that somebody took a listen to, and it just happened to be our angel Roberta Peterson, who is at Warner Brothers, who is Ted Templeman's sister. Roberta Peterson was the vice president over at artist. I gotta think. I'm so sorry. I don't want to get this wrong, so I apologize if I do get it wrong. But she was the VP of artist relations there, I believe.
Okay.
So she, one day we just get a call out of the blue, and we were, rehearsing, and David said, "Listen, I've been talking to Roberta, and she's going to send her brother out there to come and see you guys play." We had no idea it was Ted. So we're like, "Well, what's she sending the brother over here for?" And Dave's like, "Don't ask any questions. Just get ready." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, So finally, we walks in, and here's Ted Templeman walking into the dress room, which is our rehearsal room.
Wow.
And it was. I can still see it too, Mitch. It's pretty crazy. You don't forget those type of moments. Like, oh my God. He goes, "Hi guys, I'm Ted." Like, oh shit. Oh my God. I could just fell down and started crying. Right there. Oh shit. So here's our hero, and comes walking in. He was real serious. He's like, "Listen, I really like what I heard. I want you guys to play me everything that you have, but when I raise my hand, please stop, because I don't,
I don't need to hear anymore.
I don't need to hear anymore."
Right.
So we said, okay. So we played him all these songs, and he just raised his hand once. So we're going right at the very end. We're playing. I don't even know the song that we were playing. It's probably something that we didn't even put on record. And he goes, okay. He raises his hand. He goes, "Come on." He goes, "Sit down." So he's sitting there, and he had a bunch of notes taken, and he had his reading glasses on, kind of looking down, looking up at us, and he goes, "Okay, so I want to ask you guys a question." He goes, "I really liked what I heard. What would you guys think about doing a record with me?"
Yeah.
And we were like, "Are you kidding? Are you kidding me?" Like, "No. What do you think about us doing a record together?" We said, "We're in." Yes.
Yeah.
Hey,
what else do you say to Ted? Right?
It's just like, well. So he was cracking up, because, and so we just went right in and we started doing pre-production. And most of the songs were, we worked very hard on them anyway, so they were pretty much there after the demo and everything else. So we just went in and then cut them.
How crazy was that? Now, the other person that you had in the studio was a young engineer named Toby Wright. Now, he later became the Toby Wright who did Alice in Chains, Korn,
yes.
Slayer.
Yes.
For
yes.
Kiss fans, he did Carnival of Souls, that much maligned album. So you had
yes.
Ted Templeman, who was the producer sort of the 70s and 80s. And at the time, you didn't know it yet, but you were working with the producer of the 90s. Any stories of Toby? I mean, did he just sit there and engineer, or did you see that he had this producer sort of hat on him too, going, "Hey guys, how was Toby?"
Well, you know what? First of all, Toby Wright, I love you, Toby. That's my guy. I love him so much and so proud of what he did with his career, and he's just an amazing producer. Now, let's go to who Toby Wright was. Toby Wright was the third engineer.
Right.
He was the second engineer. Our first engineer was Jeff Hendrickson.
Right.
Jeff Hendrickson was Ted's right-hand guy.
Right.
So, and Jeff had worked with Michael McDonald and I don't know how many other bands. I mean, Jeff is a Grammy Award-winning producer. So now, and so here you got Jeff and Toby. So they're working, and let me tell you something. On the first record, I can tell you this. I still have a picture of them where they mixed butt naked in the studio.
That's fantastic.
They were so out of their minds on the first record, and Ted Adams just blowing it up, right? And we're actually a studio called One on One. So he's playing substitute to do, he took a picture of them, had him come and take it in where they're butt naked, sitting in the chairs too, like at 3:00 in the morning at some point. So, yes, Toby Wright does produce naked sometimes, and I love that about him.
That's fun. I mean, what an incredible cast you had on there. You know, it was mastered by George Marino. You had Templeman.
Yes.
You had Wright.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, no wonder it's such
and,
a
you know, those guys
album.
really learn from Ted. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, not to interrupt you, but I really feel that, and I think Toby will tell you that they learned a lot from Ted.
Oh, agreed.
Ted was very eccentric, but he is my mentor. He taught me so much. The way that our album sounds now, I was taught that from Ted Templeman. The way the voice is, the way, you know, how it encompasses, how it feels very large. Yep. We did a lot of that stuff on 2-inch, and transferred. So it was, I learned, and it was a sponge. So when I go in the studio now, it's everything that I worked with Ted, Jeff, and Toby, you know, and Garth.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, Ted was just, I don't know, he was so eccentric and just so loving, and, you know, but, you know, scolded us too when we needed to be scolded. And, you know, I know he did that to me, but he was the you know, the guy that actually would sit and talk with me and go, you know, not talk about music, but talk about what I did that night, or what I was reading, or would tell me, or some of the guys in the band, here, go get this book and go check it out in the library. I want you to read this, or go watch this movie. I have 2 movies for you to watch. Go watch them. And we would do it. Yeah. You know, he was teaching us how to do things. I can't even tell you how many meetings we had with the great Mo Austin, or Lenny Waronker, where I was privileged to sit there and, you know, have a sandwich at lunchtime, and where we would listen to Mo, and where he would talk to us, and he would tell us, you know, just different things, you know, like things that maybe didn't have anything to do with the now, but maybe in the future. You know,
do you consider
treat people with dignity, treat people kind. Right. You know, however you come up, you're going to come down. So the people that you see up, you're going to see them coming down.
Absolutely.
You know.
Do you consider that first album to be your masterpiece? Before Elefanté, of course. But is that one of the greatest? Because it really is raw and honest, and it just seemed to have all the right elements. There's other great stuff that came after, don't get me wrong, but is that sort of the crowning jewel?
Yeah, no one's ever asked me that question, Mitch. That's very interesting. Let me take a couple moments here.
Should I help out? We've got Freak Show, Zaza, Acid Monkey.
No, it's okay. No, I would say yes. I would say that would be. I wouldn't say that would be the pinnacle, but I would say that would be the one of the greatest, if not the greatest, record that I've ever been a part of.
Okay. Until
definitely.
Elefanté.
Okay.
Because that Elefanté is really, really good. I'll keep saying that, right? The new one's really
Thank you so much. No, I'm so ecstatic that you like it, Mitch.
I really do.
It really means a lot to me. Really, my brother, it does. So, I think it has the promise of the first record, to be honest with you, and I think you hear that.
Yeah, I was able to. Sorry, I know we're both cutting each other off, but it really, to me, has redefined what the Bulletboys are and do, and that's not easy to do 30 years on. You know, it's just not an easy task.
No, it's not. It almost made me trust me. We laughed, we cried, we were part of it, and I don't mean that sarcastically. I mean that literally. Yeah. We're working with the great Ryan Green, who was just such an angel in the studio with me to create this little masterpiece of ours. Was let me do what I really wanted to do. He really, you know, he never pulled in the reins and said. The only time he did was, I remember that we were doing one song and the drums weren't right, and I was just panicking because I didn't want to record, or I needed to do something. So we ended up re-recording the drum, but he was just like so calming and just like, Mark, we are going to put out the greatest record that this band has ever put out. And whatever we need to do, don't worry about it. We'll do it. Good. And like just, you know, on Rollover, there's an electric sitar in the breakdown. Now, I asked him, he goes, what do you, and I'm sitting, of course, I'm sitting there, he's like, what's the matter? I'm like, He's like, are you okay? He's like, I go, yeah. I go, I just want to hear this certain thing in the middle, and I don't know if we can do it. He goes, what is it? I go, no, you're going to laugh. And he said, no. And I go, well, I want to put an electric sitar in there, It's like, done. I have one downstairs. I go, you're joking. And he went downstairs, and he came back, and he goes, ta-da! And he goes, ah! Plugged it in, there's the sound. I said, oh. I go, he goes, it's weird. Everything that we've been doing on this thing, it's just been there, boop, boop, over there, oh. We brought in horns to on the last tune. I won't even get into that, but now we have a horn section when we play on some shows. We have background singers called the Pistolettes. The horn section's called the Bullhorns. So I've added to the band because of this record.
That's great. I do want to talk more about the record, but I do want to go a bit back in your history. Just a couple of questions.
Sure.
Early 90s, 1982, I think more precisely, you were with Ratt, the wonderful Ratt. Just tell me a little bit about the experience with Ratt. Why did you sort of come in for a year and then leave? How was it working with Stephen Pearcy and whoever else was in the band at the time? Just tell me about your Ratt experience.
It was one of the greatest experiences of my musical career. Okay. Because I got to work with the great Stephen Pearcy, who is a very dear friend of mine.
Yes, great guy.
I revered him very much so. He was one of my mentors when I was very young in that band. I was 18, 19, I don't even remember, very, very young still, probably just getting into out of my teens in later part. But what happened is I was chosen by Ozzy Osbourne to be the new guitar player for Ozzy Osbourne.
Well, stop you there because that was my next question. So tell me about the whole Ozzy thing too, then.
Sure. Yeah. We were just talking. It was so great. I was speaking with my close friend Rudy Sarso, and Rudy. I love Rudy to death because he was one of the cats that got me into the music business when I was really young. So I'll in a short form, I'll try to explain how I got into this.
Okay.
So the person who brought me into the Hollywood music scene was Greg Jeffria.
Okay.
Who was a keyboard player for Angel, and they were Angel at the time. This is prior Jeffrey or anything.
Yeah.
Greg discovered me at a rehearsal studio called Rosemary's Baby Studio.
Okay.
And it was a studio in the Valley here in Los Angeles, California. And my three-piece high school band was playing there. And he walked in one day with him, Punky Meadows, and Barry Bratt just came walking into our studio. And it wasn't ours. We were lucky to be rehearsing there because my bass player knew the owner, and the owner really liked the band. So he said, hey, I'll give you guys free studio time if you bring other bands up here. So we're like, man, we're in a garage. We're like, yeah. So we drove, here we are driving like 25 minutes to get to the studio, but it was, this beautiful studio. And, you have Tim Bogart and Ed Van Halen and Carmine Appice playing in the next room. You have Angel. There was Missing Persons would come in there at night. So all of a sudden we got thrown in. That was our baptism of fire. And so the Greg comes walking in. And he's like, wow, you guys sound really good. He goes, is that you singing? He goes, yeah. He goes, you mind if we sit down and listen for a little bit? We were like, no. So immediately I'm nervous and sweating.
Right.
And just scared. So I'm going like, oh my God, this Angel. I'm looking at my bass player, Sammy, who was my best friend. He's looking at me like, dude, let's just do this. Let's do what we're doing. So we played a couple songs and stuff, and they were like, yeah. And Punky was like, man, that's great. So they really, really liked it. So he said, you guys want to come over and after you're done and come and listen to us rehearse? I said, yeah. So we were just like, we were freaking out. So we finished our rehearsal and then rehearsing. We started hanging out, and Greg just started hanging out with me. And he brought in different people to come and see me. He introduced me to Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley.
Nice.
They were two of the first big stars that came to see me at the Troubadour, besides Greg and Punky and other cats that he had. I think he had Michael DeBarres, brought him in one night. I mean, these were all these, cats. The cats, and we're just these young, pissants, whatever. But he really believed, and so we move a little bit forward. He's been working with me, and one day he calls me up and I'll never forget it. I'm still at my parents' house, and he goes, "You got to get up here right now." I said, "That's the house." I go, "What's going on? Is everything cool?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I need you to get up here. I can't tell you who's here right now, but just bring your guitar, your amp, and come here now." And it's like 8:30 in the morning. I go, "Wow, this is weird."
Yeah.
So I drive up to his house, and I open the door, and there's Ozzy and Sharon.
Not a bad surprise.
No, it was really cool. So I'm like, "Oh, wow." And I really didn't ask any questions. And I was like, he goes, "Mark, this is Ozzy and Sharon." And Sharon was just a sweetheart and an angel. And Ozzy was really sweet. And I sat down, and he goes, "Grace says you're an amazing guitar player. Do you know any of my songs?" And I said, "Yeah." So I sit down, and I think I played him Over the Mountain and SOS. I don't know. I don't even know what I played. But I can't remember. But he's like, "That's brilliant, Would you like to come and go and play some songs and go to rehearsal and hang out?" I was like, yes. So then it started. So then I started hanging out, and we rehearsed like for a little over a month. I was trying to figure it out. I think Rudy said almost 2 months. And I was supposed to start tour in Europe.
Right.
A Diary of a Madman, the extension of Diary of a Madman. So here I am, I'm all practiced, everything's in, and Rudy just takes me under his wing, and he's I'm sitting in a limo looking at him like, wow, and why am I even here, kind of feeling, but, and he's the guy that said, no, you're supposed to be here, blah, blah, blah. But, I knew at that point that, Rudy was still, very devastated from Randy's death, and so was Ozzy.
Right.
So we cut to they're supposed to come pick me up. I'm supposed to fly out with them. So I waited 2 days. They never came and pick me up. I get a call from Sharon. Sharon speaks to my mom. Says, he just feels he's too young right now. We've just gone through this thing, and keep the guitars and equipment and everything, but tell him we love him with our hearts, but we feel that we just can't do this right now. So they ended up getting Bernie Torme. So Bernie Torme did the tour in Europe for 2 weeks, and then they got somebody else, and I think Brad Gillis ended up coming back in, or something happened. We were trying to figure that out yesterday, but so that's where that happened. So as soon as I wasn't playing in Ozzy, and also too was like it was in the LA Times saying Marq Torien, local kid, gets a gig in Ozzy Osbourne. So we're talking about that, and then we were all remembering that. And so after that, when it didn't happen, I was devastated, dude. I was like, I felt humiliated.
Right.
It's very humiliating. I'd worked really hard on the material, and and I had it for all intents and purposes, note for note, playing it amazingly. And I don't say that I say that out of humility, because the great Randy Rhoads, to play his guitar parts is you're blessed if you can even get close to playing what he played.
Yep.
You're lucky.
Yep.
So you're blessed to even be playing those notes that he created. So I think like that. So I'm going, wow. So one day I was at the Troubadour again. Steve comes up to me, and we're sitting there with Robin King. Well, I love him to death.
Yep.
Rest in peace. And he goes, dude, join Ratt. He goes, we need a guitar player. He goes, dude, don't worry about that. You're a Ratt. Coming. So Steven hired me to come in and play in Ratt. And I worked really hard in the band, and we were working on new material and everything. And when myself, and Juan Crucier joined the band about the same time I did, and Bobby was kind of in and out. He was playing with Doc and doing other things, but I actually walked into a powder keg of a band. I mean, here's these guys that are older than I am, that are really at a high level musically, that have been touring and playing Europe and everything. So when I came walking in there, I was just this LA kid that's a firecracker guitar player, that had chutzpah. And Stephen loved me, and Robin loved me because we were friends, but Bobby never really, I don't think he really liked me too much.
Right. He didn't take to you, but so then go ahead.
But Bobby ended up being one of the guys that I loved in the band, because he taught me a lot. He forced me to sit down and listen to music that I would never listen to. And he taught me things like that about different guitar players. And, you got to listen to this guy, Mark. I know you listen to this, and blah, 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 but listen to this, please. Don't be hard-headed, So it was cool. I mean, I hang out at Bobby's house all the time. He was, he was very, very kind and sweet, but those guys were driven to do something special. And Stephen was the catalyst for it. Every day, I remember seeing a calendar. I can still see it. I talked to Stephen about this all the time ago. You always would have a calendar, and at the end, the last day of the month, it would say, Ratt will be signed on this day.
And they were eventually.
Dude,
it was huge.
And dude, Stephen was the coolest dude you could want to hang out with, because he hung out with all the most beautiful gals always around him. He could get into plays, he could do stuff. He had people that would, the Ratt Squad that would just go out and flyer everything. Ratt, Fashion Rock, it was everywhere, right? So he just drove it to that. And he was, I would tell him, I said, you were the vision, you and Robin, that songwriting team. Now, when I was let go of the band, we were just in rehearsal to do the first EP.
Right.
So I was crushed. I can't even, I'll be honest with you. And I just didn't understand it. Robin didn't understand it, but Stephen had a vision. And he wanted Warren to come in because I think Warren had a lot of money. Warren's always been in a very wealthy family,
Yep.
So I think that probably worked out better. Now, Stephen told me, Mark, you need to put your own band. He told me that. He goes, you need to sing. You need to have your own thing. I don't want you to, I have this thing, and I have to be the focal point of this. So he had vision, and I didn't get it at the time, but I did respect it, So he went out and became gigantic.
Yeah.
And I had to see all that, so it was really hard on me. So when the Bulletboys came back around, they were kind of on the downward spiral.
Right.
So I remember us, we're packing the Avalon 3 nights. We're selling out all these places here, and Stephen will come in the thing and, hey, dude, let me in. And my tour manager's like, no, dude, you can't let him in. He's like, dude, let him in now. Stephen's like, dude, what's up with your boy? I was like, dude, come here. Talk to my boy, dude. What's up, bro?
That's
it's like,
fun.
So we've been really tight friends, even through all the craziness of life. We're doing a show this weekend together up in Big Bear, California, at the place called The Cave, and we're all excited because every time we get to play together, I count, I'm coming up on stage. He goes, dude, don't, bro. Oh, man. I said, dude, I'm coming up on stage. Slip of the lip, dude. Just watch for me. I'm coming up. He's like, dude.
That's funny.
So I just go up there and start singing with him, right into it. He's like, dude, this is great. I go, yeah. I go, dude, come on. We gotta have to have fun now. It's time to have fun,
You got to strap on the guitar and riff off into a crazy train and see if Stephen can follow along and sing for you.
Yeah. No, funny that you're saying something like that. We actually did some. He's got some stuff that he's going to be doing, and I guess putting out, and I'm actually playing on it from back in the day. Okay. So I'm kind of excited about it. So he's going to be putting it out of the Ratt vault, dude.
Oh, that's good. I actually spoke to Stephen a couple of days ago, and he sent me some of his new music that he's putting out, and it also sounds great. I mean, look, it's
pretty
great.
Good, huh?
It's pretty good to be alive in 2015 because a lot of these bands are coming back around, and I think a lot of bands have gone through this time of playing the bars and playing this and that, and have a renewed purpose and say, hey, you know what, we're better than this, and I think a lot of the bands are starting to prove it. You're really starting to prove it.
Thank you, bro.
Before I wrap
exactly up, what you said. Thank you for saying that, Mitch. That means a lot to me.
Yep.
That what you just said right now. That's ultra wicked cool, man. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And before I go, I want to ask you about a few former members. Carrie Kelly. Carrie Kelly is now with Night Ranger. Spent some time with Alice Cooper.
He's a sweetie. He's awesome.
Did he also do Pretty Boy Floyd or one of those bands? He did something. Yeah,
yes.
He did. That's right. He did Pretty Boy Floyd.
Yeah.
Love Carrie. Great spirit. Great person.
Amazing cat. Yes.
A couple of words on Carrie, and then I'll give you 3 other names. What was it like having Carrie as a Bullet Boy for a while?
Carrie's such an artist. He comes with with the ferociousness of his musical prowess. Mm-hmm. It was great playing with Kerry. In fact, I actually enjoyed hanging out more, being a friend with Kerry than playing together.
Right.
I know it sounds kind of weird, but he's a brilliant guitarist, and
Agreed.
I love talking tones with him, and every time I get together, dude, straight in, bro. Because I go straight in. It's like, dude, come on, straight in. He goes, Mark, it's in the hands. We always say, it's in the hands. So we always joke around, but he's a real cat, man. Really proud of what he's done.
You had a couple of Canadians in your band. The first one is Brent Fitz. He had just been in a band with Kiss's Bruce Kulick called Union, also John Corabi. That didn't work out. He came to you, and now, of course, he plays with Slash's. I was going to say Slash's Snake Pit. No, he plays with Slash.
Yes.
But tell me about our fine Winnipeg. I don't want to say boy, but our fine Winnipegian Brent Fitz. What was it like having him?
Our fine Winnipegian lad, right?
Yeah. Yes. What was it like having him?
He is one of the nicest guys in the music business.
Agreed.
And a ferocious drummer.
Agreed.
And a stalwart business guy. Yep. He's got a great business mind, and he knows what to do as far as in his creative rock and roll business. In the studio, he's just a consummate professional. But he has that really comical side about him. He's really shy. But he's just great, and he's an amazing drummer, and it was great. He did the part on the Sophie record, actually. Yep. And we did that. We did part of it with the great Andy Johns, rest in peace. One of the greatest producers I've ever worked with. But I got to tell you, Brent Fitz is
solid.
He's a lifer. He's a lifer, dude.
Also spent some time with Alice Cooper. Did Kerry and Brent play together in Cooper, or did they just miss each other? But
I don't. You know what? I don't want to speak out of turn. I don't know.
Don't know. Another Canadian from Toronto, Jason Hook.
Yes.
Now here's what's great about Jason.
J-Dog.
He spent some time with Mandy Moore, and then over with what was that other girl he played with? I forget now who he played with. But then he played with the Bulletboys. How was
Hillary Duff? Was it
Hillary Duff? No. There you go. Hillary Duff.
Yeah.
There you go. And then he did some time with Alice Cooper. It seems that everybody goes through Bulletboys. I guess to become a famous rock star, first you start off as a Bullet Boy, then you go play with Alice Cooper. Right?
What happened to me?
Yeah, exactly.
What happened?
Well, you haven't played with Alice Cooper yet. That's the problem.
Are we talking? Yeah, no. Can we talk about Jason Hook?
Yeah, and then of course Five Finger Death Punch.
Okay. First of all, let's talk about Jason.
Yes.
Okay. Jason told me the last time I saw him, he goes, dude, every time I get the first thing they want to talk about is Bulletboys. Mm-hmm. That's it. So, and me and Jason are very close. We did time together. I love him with all my heart. He's a brother to me. I'm still very, very close, even though we don't see each other. Right. Sometimes as soon as we see each other, it's like, because we both probably end each other's careers with the things that we know about each other. I'm just kidding. No, but no, let me tell you something. Jason, we actually, I don't know if will probably give us credit, but as far as I remember, and I've got a pretty decent memory, we were looking for a guitar player, and we met Jason in an airport. And Jason, we were looking at that, go, wow, that guy, I'm on the band that guy plays, and he looks pretty cool. Like, yeah. And Lonnie's sitting right there in the airport. Yeah, he goes, he looks really familiar, dude. I'm like, really? I go, he kind of does. So I think either he walked up to us or Lonnie walked up to him, and he goes, yeah, I'm Jason Grinstead. I go, I know your old guitar player, Mick. And he's like, we go, oh my God, you're Mick's favorite guitar player. And he goes, yeah. So that's how we met. And we go, dude, we're looking for a guitar player. And he goes, would you be interested? He goes, yes, I'm totally interested. He goes, well, what would Mick think? He goes, we don't care what Mick thinks. I think he would love it because you're his favorite guitar player if you're doing it. He goes, I'm in. So we exchanged numbers, and that's how it happened. And he came in, and we gave him his name Hook because his last name's Grinstead.
Right.
And myself and Lonnie gave him his last name. and we won't talk about why his name is that, but let's just put it this way: it's cool.
So there you go. So
but he also goes, I go, why don't you? I go, Jason, come here. It's like I saw him. I went to go to the Knotfest out here in Los Angeles. Actually, it's God, where was it at? It's north of here, just north of here, but Knotfest, and they were playing. And I haven't seen him in a long time, so we go backstage and we cruise back in, and there he is. We pull up in an SUV, and he's right there. And I jump out of the car and I put my arms up. I go, Jason. And he goes, just come over here. So we're talking to somebody. He comes over and he goes, oh my God, so good to see you. He goes, great. Now I'm really nervous. I go, why are you nervous? He goes, I know you. He goes, I don't want to fuck up tonight. I go, Jason, stop it. He goes, I really want to meet you. Come up here. So it's like almost like it's the same. Like it's almost like you don't see each other, but nothing kind of changes. So I had a chat with the guys. Gosh, they're just such good guys, man. Amazing musicians. And they just love the Bulletboys. So he goes, yeah, we've been telling Jason, you got to introduce the Marq, dude. I love your shit. And so I just had to hang out with them. And then, I got to meet the lead singer, and he's just like, what a cool dude that guy is.
He's
just the real deal.
He's intense, though. He's one hell of a performer. One hell of a performer.
No. And we had a chance to chat, and he was so respectful and just so bloody cool.
Yep.
And I said, you know what? I like this guy. And then Jason goes, come on, you got to come with me. And so he pulled me over the side of the stage, and we're sitting there, and they're getting ready to hit. And there's about 40,000 people he's getting ready to play in front of. And let me tell you something, Mitch. No disrespect to any of the bands in the bill. They did their business. And I was down the side of the stage, and Jason played flawlessly and was amazing. I was just like, wow. I was wowed. I was blown away by how much of a professional he's become and how he takes things so seriously, because in the Bulletboys, he was serious, but he wasn't. And, we always try to tell him that if you're that serious about what you're doing, you're such a great writer. He's like, no, I don't want to party. So there's a different Jason Hook. So, but this guy, I was just like, wow, it's just, I was just like, I was so extremely happy for him and all of his success. But I was kind of proud of him too, really proud of him. I was going, wow, he's become such an amazing musician. And I get a chance to see my friend here perform in front of all these people, man. I'm so happy for him.
Five Finger Death Punch is a great band. And we'll finish with DJ Ashbaugh, of course, Beautiful Creatures, Guns N' Roses, and 6 a.m. with Nikki Sixx. Another one
great
that
record.
Came out of the...
Great new record.
Yes, absolutely.
Love Nikki, love DJ, kudos to them, love them with all my heart. Really, it's just, I'm so ecstatic about that Nikki's doing, and he seems extremely happy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And now, so of course, when you look at the new band with Nick, Aaron, and Sean, you're wondering, well, what famous band are they going to be playing with in 5 years from now, right?
Right. Yeah. When I throw in the towel, right, Mitch? I mean, shoot, who knows what I'm going to be doing, Mitch?
Yeah.
You never know. I mean, there's a lot of things that I'm doing right now that are setting the foundation for my solo career. And I'm really excited about that because I have a couple records in the cans right now as we speak. I'm constantly writing. So I'm really happy for Sean. Sean's playing, Sean has had a comeuppance in his career, and he's getting a lot of different calls to play with a lot of the cats, a lot of guys that we love in the business. And, I was just on the phone with him today, it's just going like, wow, man, he says, I'm so excited. I can't wait for this tour and putting on the record. And, we're just a team. And it's just like, wow, this is like a dream come true, man. So we're like going, we've got a lot of stuff to look forward to. And,
it is exciting though, right?
And Nico, I was telling Nico, because, we've been friends for years, but we've been playing together this is our 7th year together. So I was telling Nick, so I go, I know when I go, so are you getting ready to leave too and play in another big band? He goes, possibly.
Yeah, they're all bailing.
He looks at me and he goes, fuck no, dude. We just did a record. Wouldn't you fucking crazy? So we always joke around like that all the time. We always laugh about stuff.
No, but it's been a great career. You've had ups and
Oh, thanks,
downs,
Mitch.
but I think
Yeah.
this is definitely an up, and I wish you nothing but the best with this one. I really think that fans should give it a try. Just pick it up.
Hey, I think thank you so much. You know, and I'm really humbled by everything that's happening right now. And I know people throw that terminology around very loosely these days, and but I mean that, Mitch, from a friend to a friend. I'm really humble, and it's really brought me a lot of sense of humility to know that there's people out there that are still going, man, Mark's coming back, dude.
Yep. Rock and roll is coming back. That's what's exciting.
Rock and roll is coming. Oh my God, we were just talking about the Rock on the Range. You know, it was 2 days of it, and it was broadcast over Access TV. So if whoever didn't watch that, I suggest out there, please go watch this and be supportive of these brilliant hard rock and metal bands that I watched. It was just real playing, real instruments, real amps, people that are really doing it. It wasn't the BMA Awards. Oh, wait a minute, did I just say that out loud? I'm sorry.
No, and of course, speaking of that festival, over here in Montreal, we have the Heavy Montreal Festival that takes place August 7th, 8th, and 9th, and it's got Korn, it's got Dokken, it's got Slipknot, Faith No More, Extreme.
Yes.
You know, you got to get out to these festivals and support them, folks, because you got to keep live rock, especially bands like the Bulletboys, alive. That's the way we do it these days. It's not albums. It's live shows, folks. That's what keeps it alive.
Anybody that's out there that would love us to play these festivals, they can get a hold of our agent, Artists Worldwide, Chuck Bernal. You can get a hold of my publicist, Nancy Sale. We're getting ready to drop the record on the 9th, June the 9th, through Cleopatra Deadline. And they're ecstatic about the record. Sometimes we can't, you know, they're just the emails and everything. It's just, and their push on it. And what they've already heard was pretty much verbatim for what you're saying, that it's just they couldn't believe it when they heard it.
Yeah,
so and it's tripping me out now. So I'm going, wow, I like it. I guess people are liking it. It's really important, man. You know, like I can't explain. I know we tried to say this, why new music is important, but it just is.
No,
I don't know why. I can't. I don't want to put it into terminologies or to try to pigeonhole it or put it in this little box. I'm just saying that we need bands from our genre to come out with some good stuff. And I'm talking about good stuff that's memorable, that people lyrically and melodically and, you know, can really grasp onto, you know, like the bands of today. My favorite bands right now, Volbeat. I love Volbeat. I think they're amazing. I just love everything about that band. I just, their music, their energy, the way they perform, how loving they are on stage to the masses of people, how they know that they're lucky to be there, and you can see that when they perform, and that means a lot to me.
Yeah, and I just saw them 3 days ago with Crowbot and Anthrax. And
my gosh, I went to go see Crowbot at the Viper Room. I love it. I talked to the lead singer for a bit. They're one of my faves.
Brandon,
I love those guys. Real deal.
Absolutely real deal. And
yes, real deal.
And I think that if they play their cards right and they don't do any of the, you know, they don't fall into the pitfalls of the rock music, they could have a good 15, 20, 30-year career ahead of them because they really played well. And Volbeat, wow, incredible.
Yes.
I saw them years ago open up for, I think it was Metallica, if I'm not mistaken, and they were a good opening band.
Yes.
But as a headliner, wow, they really delivered.
Now it's on.
It's on. That's the only. They really delivered a great show.
Here's another. You know, Rise Against was dynamic and brilliant. I really love the lead singer. I just love his openness and his compassion to be open with his fans about what he deals with on a personal level. I have a lot of respect for that.
Yep.
And I have a lot of respect for the music and where he comes from lyrically and the passion as a punk rock band. And I grew up with punk rock music, so I have that instilled in me. And as you can hear on our records, it's kind of prevalent sometimes.
Yep.
But you look at that and you go, wow. And then my friends from Papa Roach. Papa Roach. Okay,
Jacoby
hold on.
Shaddix, yeah.
Hold on. Jacoby, hail him. I sent him a tweet. I said, I just got to say, Papa Roach just stole the show. They got up there, and the energy from those guys was so, made me just I couldn't, I was smiling in my house. I was going, God dang it, this is what I want to see. I want to see that. I want to see a lead singer putting it with everything he has and leaving it all out there. That's what I want to see.
I agree.
Papa Roach.
That was, boy, when that song, Last Resort, hit back in the, I guess, mid-90s, I mean, that, you just knew that they were going to be sort of the next big thing. You just knew it. We've been on the phone over an hour, so I'll wrap up the interview, but hold on a second, and we'll chat some more. There you have it, my interview with Marq Torien of the Bulletboys. The new album is Elefanté. Definitely worth checking out. Much like Heavy Montreal, taking place August 7th, 8th, and 9th at Parc Jean Drapeau in beautiful downtown Montreal, Quebec, Canada. We've got Korn, Faith No More, Slipknot, and if that's not good enough for you, we've got Iggy Pop, Lamb of God, Testament, Lita Ford, Periphery, Fozzy, Asking Alexandria, Dawkins, Marky Ramone with Andrew WHK, Within Temptation, Warrant, and many, many more. Bill, thank you once again for joining me.
Hey, man, thanks so much for having me. This is a blast.
Yeah, you know, it's a great pleasure having you co-host on these different episodes. And, you know, I'll remind the folks to head over to Leverty.com. You've got a bunch of new songs up there, including Strong, that they can download. What else is coming up? You've got a show in Canada this summer with Bad Company, or at least Paul Rogers. That's going to be kind of cool, in Madawawa, or whatever it's called, Ontario.
I'll be stalking his dressing room. Hopefully our dressing room's next to ours, or our trailers will be close, so I can get my selfie done with the master of vocals, Mr. Paul Rogers. But if not, I'm just going to hang around and take the vocal lesson from the guy who sings better than everybody else. So that's going to be cool.
At the end of August, the day after my birthday, you're going to be in Melbourne, Florida for the 80s in the Park Festival. And Russ Dwarf, who was on the Deuce song with you on the Kiss tribute, and friend of mine from the Killer Dwarfs, they will also be on that festival. So that's certainly something people should come out and check out. New music from Firehouse anytime soon?
I hope so. We're talking about getting together and putting a song together, and so that's the plan. Is we'll all come together, write a song, record it, release it as a single, and then kind of go one step at a time instead of having to record an album when we all live in different places. It's challenging to do, but I think that doing the one song as a single would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think, you know, a summertime song, if not for this year, maybe for next year, it's kind of fun. You know, with the way the marketplace is it really necessary to put together 10 or 12 songs? Right? Probably not.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would love to. It's I think we'll start one song at a time, and if it's everybody kind of feels the same way that I do, is that once you finish a song, you don't want to sit on it for a few months until you get 10 or 12 of them done. You want to put it out there. So that's what we're going to do, I think.
If you were to write Firehouse music at this point, lyrically, where would you want to go with it? You know, as you get older, does it change in terms of what you want to put on paper? Yeah,
I believe that what I want to do is write about something I care about. And what I cared about when I was in my 20s is a little different now that I'm over 30. So.
Right, now that you've hit 31, you don't want to write about... yeah, that's exactly it. No, it's if I was an artist and I were writing, I would certainly change my focus as well. And as somebody who has written, you know, interviews and stuff, just even the focus of the interviews and the questions I ask have changed and dare I say matured over the years. Right? It's not always tell me about the girls, tell me about the. That gets a little stale after a while, right?
Well, I think it's really cool that we can still, as a Firehouse, we're a fun time band. We want to get out and have a good time. We want the audience to have a good time. So we want to keep that kind of vibe with our lyrics, and we're just going to, think about it a little bit differently. I think from a perspective of now that we're over 31.
That's
right. So that's
right.
the thing.
Back in the day, it was all about having a good time at the bar and the Speedway, and now it's like I was at my kid's kindergarten play, and right.
And we rocked.
and we rocked it. Oh, there you go, Bill. That's what I love about you. You'll take any nonsense I throw at you, and you'll run with it, which is
well. It's great talking to you. I'm so glad you're feeling better, man. And thanks again for having me.
Absolutely, and of course, thanks to Marq and the Bulletboys. New album is Elefanté. Head over to bulletboysofficial.com, and since we're talking Firehouse, head over to firehousemusic.com as well. Thank you, folks. Thank you, Bill.
Thanks, Mitch. Have a great one.
You too.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye. See you.